Hello, it's me introducing another part of this 3-part Fate Accelerated game. Now, I was tempted to split this one into 2 parts, but unfortunately we had, in the second hour, a major camera malfunction, and the footage that we recorded there just is unusable. We've still got all the audio and the other 2 cameras were running fine, but you will notice that about halfway through this episode, in the second hour, one of the cameras has just gone. So I've worked around that. We've sorted it together. If you're still listening to it, just audio is like a podcast kind of thing, then you'll be fine. You won't even notice the difference. But yeah, for most of this episode, I just kept it to the 3 cameras. So you're watching everything, you're watching everyone all the time, and then when one of the cameras cuts out, I just put up a still. So yeah, apologies for that. We were still learning at this point when we were recording. But yeah, hopefully this first part where we're playing the game based on the world that we created in part 1, if you have or haven't seen that, you may have skipped that. That's fine if you just want to watch the gameplay, but if you watch that part, you'll have seen the world and the characters that we created. And now here we are playing the game proper in a genuinely fully improvised set. We had a slight gap between the part 1 and part 2 recording. We recorded them all the same day though, but there was a tiny little gap where we had lunch and I wrote down some ideas, but otherwise it's fully improvised. I've done almost no prep for this whatsoever. So yeah, I will talk more about that in another video, but hope you enjoy and keep an eye out for part 3 next week. Welcome back to part 2 of this very exciting game of Fate in this world of ghosts and cat cafes and clones. Got the quirky clone thing going on. If you're unclear what any of that I just said means, then you didn't watch part 1, which you definitely need to do, in which we created the world and did our characters of this game that we're about to play. If you're unaware, we are playing Fate, which is a game that has no core lore or world or genre or setting. So you players collectively make that at the beginning of the game, which we did in the previous session, which I suggest you check out. Or you can just jump in here and find out what weirdness, just be surprised by the weirdness that we created. So once again, this game has no core setting or module outline. We are just improvising a story here based on the rules that we created last time and the jump door of ideas that is my brain. Hello everyone, welcome. Well, I say welcome back. We actually didn't record. We were recording this all in one day just to break the illusion here.
The illusion, no! Illusion.
Well, there goes the immersion.
We've been together all times.
But yeah, this is my channel. You know me. Hopefully, you've seen many videos of me talking about myself. But my players are the lovely
Alex Maud.
Also lovely.
Jacinta Hunter.
And again.
Vic Hawley.
And the slightly less lovely
Emily Maybank. The most lovely.
That was it.
At least you didn't get and again.
And she's back.
Back for another run of whatever this is. Vic Hawley, everybody.
We tried to lock her out and she just found her way back in.
Started the pipes.
Started singing about rap.
Emily Maybank, the Alan Davis of Kristian's brain.
I'll take it.
But yes, we are here. So I don't know if anybody has expanded their character anymore with any more aspects or stunts or concepts, but hopefully we have some vague idea. But we will introduce our characters now, because we had the creation phase in the previous episode, but we never really saw like the physicality of the characters. We haven't really been introduced to yet. We know that we have a blogger, or a vlogger, sorry. Or
blogger.
Blogger.
WordPress,
okay. A self-assigned museum curator, a transient rat man, rat person. That's what we keep referring to you as. Don't we? We keep referring to you as rat man for some reason, but because you were very committed to the term of being smelly in the previous.
I just don't wash, okay? I'm a good forager. I forage.
I like the idea that you are a fully humanoid human, and we're all just like, oh, it's the rat.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the rat.
And our introvert in the chair, who is going to be our kind of the group's eye in the sky, and you are a group of ghost hunters in this world that has been somewhat overtaken by ghosts. Well, not overtaken, but yeah, it's definitely become a noticeable problem. But I'm going to say in recent years, but it's been a little while. It's been a few decades, let's say, of ghosts. Or there's obviously always rumours, same as there is in our world. There's always stories and rumours. You're like, oh, are they real? Are they not? That's kind of your choice. But yeah, it's incontrovertible proof has been increasingly happening over the last few decades, to the point that the government has had to intervene and create these ghost watching groups, of which you sort of are one. There was very limited funding for your little town of, what was it, Little Gravesmark-on-Sea. Didn't have a lot of funding left over for you, and you didn't really seem like a high priority, so they sent somebody out to set a few bits up, and then didn't really have the money for personnel, so you just all but you were enthusiastic and you volunteered. Most of you volunteered. Cinta's character maybe was slightly more dragged into it. But you ended up being this voluntary group of ghost hunters for your little town. You didn't have a lot of work to do. Mostly you kind of chased dead ends. But yeah, every now and then there's a ghosty thing happening that you have to deal with, which essentially just means you just write it down until it goes away, really. You haven't really figured out quite how to deal with a ghost as such. No one has really, but there's definitely a containment element to hotspots around the world. But yeah, that's how we meet. So why don't we reintroduce our characters with any extra flavour that we may have gathered since the last episode. I'm going to go this way around the table. I'm Emily.
So my character's name is Jenny Jones. She's a mommy blogger. She doesn't do the whole TikTok thing because she doesn't want to dox her children. You know, if she ever posts pictures or anything, she puts emojis over their faces. So it's really for the privacy, because having 72 devoted followers, I don't want 72 people to stalk my beautiful children. It'd be really sad. She's probably about 30 or so, blonde hair, the athletic type that you hate, tall and skinny and
Bit soccer mummy, is that kind of this American expression?
Yeah.
What are her children's names? Are you allowed to know?
Jack and Juniper, they're 6-year-old twins.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Identical or fraternal?
Jack and Juniper are fraternal twins. One's a boy, one's a girl.
My name is Professor Camellia Bucket. You might recognise me from my lectures at the local Heritage Museum, the Heritage as I call it, but it's not caught on, but it shall. Or you might know my patient doctor wife, which is an aspect that I've added. My dear doctor, my dear wife, who's also a doctor.
My dear doctor, who's also my wife.
Is
she a doctor first or wife first?
Sometimes I'm not sure. She's very patient, but she is a doctor. She's utterly patient. We've been in deep love for more than 40 years, or at least I have, and she's put up with me. Just a little joke. We really are very much in love. But I, of course, run, manage, promote, and altogether maintain the Little Gravesmark-on-Sea Heritage Museum. And you've all definitely seen me about. I'm sure you came to my exhibition on pots I found, or dirt. The Dirts of Gravesmark. Do you
I did come to the dirt one, yes.
I did. Yes, that was very popular with you, actually. I do have to remind you not to sniff the glass cases, it's smeary. But mostly I'm just always on the lookout for things that I want to put in our museum to celebrate our wonderful heritage here. And that's me, really, Professor Bucket.
I've just got in my head the kind of Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy element of patient, doctor, wife. 3 different people.
Tinker, patient, doctor, wife.
The patient, the doctor, and the wife.
Can that be the aspect?
It's going to be patient, doctor, wife, spy.
Patient,
It's changed now, it's done. I do not know she is a spy. Please give my wife be a government spy as well as a patient doctor.
Just to complete the...
Patient, doctor, wife, spy. Is that okay, Kristian?
Sure.
Thank you.
Jacinta.
Hi, I'm Perfidia Dixon, but most people call me Ratman.
Apparently.
What is your first name? Perfidia.
Perfidia.
As you all know, not many people venture into the woods, but if you do, you'll find me in my camper van there. But you're probably more likely to see me in the library. You'll recognise me because I've never ever brushed my hair, and I also don't really cut it, so it's very matted. My clothes are quite baggy and ripped, and I'm also just quite dirty all the time because I don't have a washing machine. And what's the point?
Can I ask about the smell profile? Is there anything distinctive about...
Does it have a good nose?
I don't think
Does it have a good nose feel?
I don't think I smell. I think I just smell of, the earth and the wildlife, and I don't smell of all these disgusting shower gels and things. Is what I'm saying.
That's what I thought
Unnatural.
you'd say, dear. Yes, well.
And I don't believe in deodorant. I mean, don't
Well,
block up your
chemicals.
Come on, yeah, no chemicals.
Didn't have to tell me that with words.
Alex.
Yes, my name is Warren Musling. People say I'm quite pale, I guess.
People don't talk about you.
Yeah, thanks. I'm short blonde hair, about 5'5", 23, and not much of a people person, but I'm good at stuff.
And mechanically speaking, just because it's useful for you guys to know each other's things as well, we'll go the opposite way around. Do we have any new aspects or stunts, perhaps, that we might have added?
So, I've just written down what I think might be such things. Correct me if I'm wrong,
No?
or if they're too vague or too specific. But I did think of a couple of stunts, one of which is minority reporting the screens,
Okay.
which is basically the ability to, if I'm tracking, I'm very good at again, when I'm in that, it's sort of in that, tactician's chair, as it were. I'm very good at keeping track of loads of information at once, like positions, map layouts, conditions of people and clones and so on. That is my sort of, yeah, it's almost like
Happy place.
almost
The comfort
Cerebro-esque,
Okay. That makes sense. So I think mechanically, as long as any time that you are in the chair, as it were, with all your screens, you can have a +2 to any roll. But that's very circumstantial. As long as you are there.
Yeah. The other stunt that I thought of, because I believe we can have a maximum of 3.
Maximum of 3.
Yeah. So another stunt I call crewing the skeletons,
Okay.
which is that I have intrinsic skill at I know we've sort of left the exact makeup of the clones fairly vague, but the biomechanical nature of the clones I've kind of become an expert in, so I'm very good at modifying their programming and or structure or what have you. We can make that more specific once we quantify more about the clones.
Yeah, I was going to get into the clones a little bit. I think we want to do this little round, but yeah.
That's all I've got for now.
Okay, I don't have a mechanic in mind of that right now, but yeah, we'll come back to that.
I was going to say, I think I can always find food in any scenario, but it may not taste nice, but it won't be poisonous.
Right. This is edible.
It's edible. I can find edible food, unless I'm in just a room with nothing in it. I guess I couldn't, but provided there's stuff around, I can probably forage edible food.
Sure, I think that's kind of, that kind of as a stunt. You mean?
Yeah.
I think that speaks for itself. Yeah, you can recognise something that is edible.
Yeah.
As needed. Anything else?
No, that's all I thought of.
I was stuck on how to word it, but I'd like to be able to, in effect, do a heritage roll or something. So to see if I see anything old, whether it links into something in my museum or a local history roll. I don't really know how to phrase that as a stunt, but basically I want to be able to, in effect, look at a plaque or a sewer plan and be like, yes, well, of course that will have been installed here or there, or that guttering will be quite weak, of course, it was installed in the late Victorian.
I think that's a good wording of that is kind of something along the lines of you've seen it before. So it's like if you can reference it to something in the museum, or it references something that you've already is in the museum.
I was going to suggest the rather laborious title of Little Graves Mark on Sea, Historical Society President for Life.
I mean, I've already got a very wordy aspect. Why not make it wordier? I mean, I like that. The idea of, in effect, how about It could be called, did you see my exhibition on?
Yes.
I like that.
Yes.
And then I can roll to see if I have done an exhibition at some point, frantically trying to drum up excitement.
We're talking about as an aspect. That
As a
works.
stunt. I was
As a
thinking.
stunt, it should give a bonus to something you're already doing. So either it works as an aspect. Have you seen my exhibition on? Does something you can invoke.
Yeah.
As a stunt, it would be more likely.
So maybe like a bonus to my clever if it's something related to
Yeah.
local history.
Yeah, either could just be a straight +2 bonus to
Mm.
clever for local history, which is a serviceable stunt.
Yeah, I think I might keep it as an aspect, and that feels a
Then
little
it's a
bit
bit
more
more,
fun. So have you seen my exhibition on? I now have 4 aspects. I'm so excited.
Great.
You can add your stunts to in place, and that's the fun part.
Oh, that's true. I'll see. There might just be like a Tai Jitsu champion or something. Or Tai Chi and Jiu Jitsu combination, which I did not intend to make, but now it's very calming until it's not.
Just before we get to Emily, I just wanted to just a thought I had, because my high concept is panopticon in the chair. Is that too similar as an aspect? Is that too similar to the stunt of minority reporting the screens?
No, because the stunt doesn't cost you a fate point. Your aspects cost you a fate point to invoke.
Right.
Stunts are things basically it's stunts are your superpowers.
Right.
The aspects you have to spend a fate point to activate them.
Understood.
I should write down people's names actually. Let me write this down quickly. Work pencil. Alex your name was?
Warren Musling.
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 Jacinta was Perfuda?
Perfidia
Perfidia, that's it.
with an F, not a PH.
It's spelled RATMAN.
Pronounced.
Is
Perfidia Dixon.
Dixon. And
Is-
it was Professor...
Professor Camellia Bucket, but spelt bouquet.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was.
Oh, so
Yeah, I was going to ask.
I
I was going to ask if this was a hyacinth bouquet.
Wait, so it's spelt bouquet, but
But it's
said
pronounced
bucket.
bucket. That's so good.
So this is the reverse of that, though.
Yes, absolutely. A reverse of what, dear?
You've never seen the show?
No, I don't think that exists in this timeline.
No.
Question is.
And my aspect, sorry, I realised I didn't say that earlier. Meticulous heritage enthusiast. That belongs in my museum. Patient doctor, wife, spy. And did you see my exhibition on? I would die for Professor Bucket.
I would die for Professor Bucket's patient doctor wife spy.
Thank you. I
Quite
can't
frank.
wait to meet her.
She can
I'm
do
sorry.
everything.
I should have mentioned her before we sat down to actually play the game. But I was just like, do you know what? Screw it. She can have a wife.
Yeah.
What would it be? Well, I think her wife should be equally qualified if she's a professor. Well, maybe a doctor. Ooh, maybe the town's doctor. Oh, brilliant. All of this was going, if you rewatch the start of the video, that will all just be going across my mind. Going across my eyes.
Insert the flashback now.
Okay, I'll do some staring.
Emily, let's move on.
I don't have a wife. I have a husband, Tony. I think it says a lot about Jenny that I definitely named my children before the husband. I don't have any specific aspects or stunts.
That's fine.
Yeah, I have a whole backstory because that's just me and what my brain does. But yeah, she's definitely American, and I think is it safe to say is everyone else from the town?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So
Proudly.
yeah, you're all from the town. I'm the outsider who's just moved over because my husband got a new job, so we moved over here, and now she doesn't know anyone, and she's just like brought her children. She's trying to make all these friends. I mean, followers.
And she's somehow bonded with a group of weirdos in the library.
Yeah. These are the only people who actually talk to me.
Imagine being an American and coming over and making only weird friends. How could you possibly relate to this completely fictional experience?
I mean, I as an actor, I really have to, put some of myself into my role.
I mean, earlier on you mentioned you have 72 loyal followers, and you mentioned that you could tune into town gossip and things.
Yes.
That could be a stunt, maybe? Like on the blogosphere or something? Like recently trending?
Yeah.
And you could just roll to see if you know what's going on in town?
Ooh.
I was going to say, how many of the 72 are from Little Gravesmark-on-Sea?
They're all
of them.
like, based in France.
Yeah.
It's a weird little
francophone
niche.
blogger.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea. There's a whole like bunch of people are like, oh, let's follow the new American lady in town.
Yes.
What's she up to? But then she's scared to talk to you, so they just follow you.
Yeah, you do actually have a load of people who want to talk to you. They're just intimidated by
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Because your life seems so perfect and amazing.
They're just like, oh, she's so exotic. I couldn't possibly talk to her.
Is
And she's just like, please, for the love of all that is good and holy in this world, will y'all please just talk to me.
Yeah.
Wearing leggings and Uggs like, am I?
I am not that perfect just because I go to the gym every morning.
There were sparkles in the air when you did that. How do you do that?
Well, just because Jack and Juniper are vegan by choice, I didn't push them into it. They just wanted to be vegan. They have very high consciences like that.
wish I had that level of awareness when I was 6.
I don't know.
All right.
But yeah, trending on or something like that.
Yeah. Now trending.
As a stunt.
Now trending. Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
I do have one question before we begin. Perfidia Dixon,
Yes.
is Ratman her maiden name?
No, because
Damn.
Perfidia would never change her name. It's just Ratman is just a nickname that stuck, and she's like so like unvain that she just doesn't care. Like you know, people can.
So
Well,
for
'cause
your
it's the difference
stunt,
between
I'm going to
Ratman
say,
and
as long as you have
Ratman.
access to the internet, you can have a +2 to any
Yeah, it's good.
Why isn't
anything
it
knowledge
Spider-Man?
based,
Ooh.
including like if you wanted to like look up you're the one person in the group that knows how to find something online really quickly,
Right. The power of Google.
basically.
Yeah.
Right, can you ask Jeeves, the butler in the phone? And call teletext. They will tell you.
That's how out of touch the profession is.
Yeah. So you just have a phone. That's actually your
Yeah.
I have a phone and I know how to use it.
To be fair though, the professor does probably out of touch. You probably don't have a phone at all.
No. Yeah.
You're the tech guy,
Yeah,
but you're
you
not that
actually
social, so you're not on the social media, so
I
you're
was
not
gonna
up to
say-
date
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the.
It's like
yeah.
if it's actual knowledge, like a fact, that's your department.
Yeah.
If it's what
Like
people
practical
think,
something, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you also you know how to like find what people think, and you know how to like fix a phone. Like he's like
Or it's like I know the bakery opens at 9 o'clock
Oh,
on
but we
Saturday.
don't want to go to that one because little Johnny got so sick from it, and then Peter just basically threw up.
That bakery's actually
Who
been
are
baking
these
since
people?
1604. What do you think, Ratman?
I've never been to the bakery. I make my own nut flour cakes in
Are
over
they-
my campfire.
It's pronounced Ratman, I think.
Are they vegan though? Because Juniper is very picky. You know, once I made her a cake and I put one egg in it, and I thought it's just one egg. She won't know she knew.
Wow.
Well, of course
That's
she knew. You
special.
put
That's
eggs in
special.
cakes.
That's what I thought. And she's like, no, Mommy. It's really weird. She started calling me Mommy the second we moved over here.
What?
Did you know
Is
the
that not-
Stuarts stopped
Bloody
putting
mom.
eggs in their cakes just around the Civil War?
Why did they?
It reminded them too much of a Roundhead. You could be hanged for a traitor if you're a cavalier with an egg in your cake. True story, look it up.
Is that true? I was going to say, that almost sounds true. That almost sounds like a mad
The egg
historical
looks
thing.
Too like a round mummy.
It almost sounds like a mad enough
I
thing.
can't remember. There's definitely a
Don't look it up. Anyway.
there's definitely a Radio 4 show where like people have to improvise. Like people are given like one or two true facts that they have to slip into a monologue that is otherwise entirely
Yeah.
bullshit.
Camellia never listens to the end where they say about the false
Yeah,
facts.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
very interesting. For the record, for the purposes of clarification, I know we need to move on, but Camellia definitely does have a phone. It's just one of the big number phones, and her wife got it for her and said, you have to have this on you in case there's an emergency. She said, yes, very well, very well.
Is her wife's the only number that is in it?
Yeah. Oh no,
That's
she hasn't
adorable.
stored any in it. She just knows it off
Yeah.
by her.
Oh, what is her wife's name?
A patient, Dr. Weisberg.
Is her name Patience?
Yeah, Patience.
would be.
Dr. Patience Whiffsby. Yes. Right, done.
Done.
Wild.
That's a wrap, people.
We're not going to top that.
Dr. Patience Whispy.
Dr. Patience Whiffsby.
Dr.
Cool.
Patience
Could you-
Whiffsby to the operating theatre, please.
Could you have a assistant that like you can get access to like medical knowledge or like?
Well, that's what the
just,
aspect would do. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's the aspect. Right.
Yeah, my patient, Dr. Wifespy.
Yeah.
She's very patient with me.
Okay.
And she's a
It's,
doctor.
it's pronounced Whiffsby.
Whiffsby, yeah. I really should have figured it out since the rest of her name also corresponds to her aspect. But this SPY at the end, I don't know, it must be a heritage thing. So it's changed.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. So the clones thing, I think we need to nail down. So people have kind of become insular and cut off from the world a little bit, partly out of security, as this supernatural element starts to grow people a bit. But presumably it was on the cards already. It's been developed for a long time. I'm imagining the setting more or less us, like our time now, but with a little bit of heightened sci-fi. Like a soft sci-fi kind of thing. So it's relatively, everything is relatively recognisable. So if you want to draw on real world things, it logically makes sense. But yeah, it's just that little bit of sci-fi here and there, and the big thing being the clones. People use clones as a kind of workforce. People kind of VR headset their way into a clone, which is not a human form as such, and they're a bit more kind of golem-like, because they kind of they're made of they look human enough depending on how expensive a clone you can afford. But yeah, when they are destroyed or when they get hurt and what's the word I'm looking for? Fatally hurt, they do kind of melt down and dissipate into the ground. Very very organic, very environmentally friendly. But yeah, so everyone has one of these so that they can go out and do, especially if they go out and do dangerous work, which technically your guys are doing. So you have some fairly basic clones that the government has sent across, as well as a machine that can repair/rebuild them. You've hacked them a bit thanks to your tech man. So they have a little bit of independence, but you do largely have to pilot them through complicated situations. They can be told to go somewhere and do something in a kind of robotic way, but yeah, if you want any complex or like problem solving, it's got to be you guys in there. I'm imagining that perhaps Warren doesn't go out quite so much. If he's the guy in the chair, he's perhaps more in the library. I guess you guys have a back room or a basement maybe where you've turned into mission control. I'm assuming the self-imposed heritage museum is kind of built out the back of the library, because obviously it's where the knowledge is. Got to keep the knowledge together.
But it's very firmly locked before we meet, because it's very, very important that we keep those artefacts safe. There are priceless things in there. The other day I found a Woolworths carrier bag. Now, I don't mind telling you that we haven't had a Woolworths on this spot for at least 10 years.
Wow.
I think this could really be the next big thing. I'm already planning the exhibition.
Well,
So-
no one's had a Woolworths on this spot for 10 years.
Precisely. It ties in globally as well as locally.
Mm-hmm.
Could really be our big break.
Quite.
I was,
how did?
I was just imagining like the nerve center almost is like there's almost like like it was like it's on like the very top of the library, and like there's a sort of almost like a platform with a couple of very simple metal spiral staircases leading up to it, and like almost a glass dome sort of thing. Not like full on futuristic, but
70s.
yeah, but sort of like dome shaped and some glass so sunlight can come in, and like
Cool.
so it's not quite a panopticon, but like
Cool.
just a thought.
I'm going to embellish a little bit here, if you allow me. If I say anything you're not interested in, then do let me know. So we definitely have the professor here as the head of this, the spearhead of this, the first volunteer for the group, as is in case of knowledge, and also ghosts are from the past. Because that's like they could have, if you can like somehow find a way to communicate with them.
Miraculous. Some were from here as well.
Exactly. So you were
yeah.
quite keen to set up this little, be part of this team as it was being set up. I think that Warren got roped in first. I'm going to perhaps say that you attempted some socializing, possibly your socialization spurred on by some kind of outside presence, a parental presence, or even if you have an online therapist. I don't want to push you into that, but if perhaps someone's saying you've got to get out there and speak to some people. So at some point you found yourself to the library because you figured that's probably the quietest place in town. So if you've got to meet someone, it might as well be where there's very few people. And somehow got roped into the professor's dealings. weren't uninterested, but at the same time he kind of took your non-confrontational face to mean like, oh, he's super into this. He's kind of dragged you along a little bit.
But also, the ghosts are a genuine problem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Camillea's definitely, I think you probably found her trying to log into her library account, and the number of and for heaven's sake, and just the chicken pecking, and she's like saying her password out loud. 1, 2, where's the darn
No.
young man.
Yeah.
Wonderful, you can help me. Log in for me, would you?
There you go.
Brilliant. What's your name?
Warren.
Warren. How would you like to help out Little Gravesmark-on-Sea? You're thrilled to speechlessness. I knew you would be. Right, so
and I think it kind of snowballed from there. I think is where that relationship
Yeah,
goes.
Warren's kind of just like this the whole time.
Yeah.
I think we've then got Jenny, who was volunteered, as you said, to try and get in with the community, and you thought, it could be a good thing. I'm going to say the ghosts aren't a apocalyptic problem in a Ghostbusters-y kind of way per se. They're just a curiosity that's happening that obviously has growing concern. But then you guys don't necessarily know how big a problem they are outside of Gravesmark. But yeah, they are a presence that is concerning rather than something that is actively trying to destroy the world and kill people. But yeah, I think Jenny then came to the library, perhaps saw a bulletin board somewhere, maybe at the school.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I imagine the professor probably put up.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere, like there are little flyers up, like, do you want to help to save Gravesmark? And no one really responds to that. Do you want to pursue local history? No one responds. Do you want to fight ghosts? And people just have to turn people away. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. Do you want to meet friends and enjoy a local opportunity?
Oh, well, this sounds like a great example of local culture. And I could just fit right in and make some friends. I mean, do some good for the community. And yeah, that sounds like a great plan.
I think
You spent many nights trying to explain to the professor how to follow you.
Yeah.
So you just need to take out your phone. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
And then what? I just wave it at you and it follows you, or?
Yeah, honey.
All right.
We'll do that.
How long do I have to follow you? I have other things to do.
I'm very busy
I have
woman.
to go home eventually.
72 people following you at
Luke.
times.
Well, I'm very good at hiding. I know.
That's
See.
really a losing battle there.
Oh, this is Warren. Warren, this is Jennifer, I presume, Jones.
You can call me Jenny, sweetheart. Do you perhaps have a WordPress account you could follow me on? It's real easy to set up.
Follow.
Yeah, I know. It's why?
Oh, well, I have 71, this is a flashback. I have 71 followers, and I could really use 72. Sounds like a great round number.
It's not a round number at all.
Yeah, but it's at least, even.
Follow.
I think that eventually Warren became your 72nd follower.
Yeah, I like how Warren was actually sort of pushed into this by
Yeah.
story,
Yeah.
by plot.
Here, give me your phone. I'll navigate to the website all by myself. I do know I have a great handle.
Look.
Jennie.
Why, actually, but it's called...
Well, I want to know how to spell it.
It's called Jenny's Gems.
Jenny's right.
It's like
Scratch all that.
It's like gems of wisdom, but also
Connect me to the internet operator.
my children are gems.
How do you get teletext on this thing?
Okay, it's pearls of wisdom, but never mind. Look, there you go, 72, all right?
Oh, well, bless your heart. 72.
Bless my... Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Tennessee, obviously. Can't you hear it?
That explains so much and yet so little.
Jenny, I've pressed 72 and now it's just beeping at me. What do I do?
I have no idea what to do with that kind of phone, darling.
Right, time for the only thing I do know how to do with this phone. Hard reset.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think I had a
I
phone
think
like
I'm going
that.
to interrupt this. It's a good enough place. Yeah.
Well, I was just... Professor, did you knock over one of your plants again or something? Because stinks to high heaven in here.
That's just Ratman.
I'm sorry?
I'm going to say Perfidia. Yeah, I'm going to say Perfidia was the last member of the group to join. The three of you, for a while you were with this government representative who was setting you up, did a few little missions that didn't really turn out to be anything, just kind of rumours and things. Occasionally you've spotted a ghost like moving through a building, or it's like a fascinating sighting. That everyone, you see those videos online that people are like, oh, that's probably fake. Now everyone kind of like, oh, these are actually true. We all know these are true now. You've got a few of those going on. It's helped, intrigue some of your followers, of course. But yeah, he did really tell you that you needed like a fourth member. And you have seen Perfidia coming into town. I imagine you come into town probably to sell a few things here and there that you've foraged.
Yeah, I have a stall at the farmer's market.
Oh, sure.
I sell mushrooms there, yeah.
Okay. And yeah, you've come into the library a couple of times to get some informational books about these things. And yeah, you kind of like happened to be there whilst the trio were meeting, discussing, trying to figure out who their fourth member should be. And you perhaps overheard, but perhaps mistook what they were talking about.
We need a nice round number, like 4.
Yeah.
Yes, you've explained the concept of round numbers. I do get it.
Hi, Jenny.
Sorry, Perfidia. Nice to meet you again. You were the one that was...
I follow your blog.
Oh, bless
I love
your
it.
heart.
Yeah. I read it every day.
Well, I can't really blame you. After all, I had an excellent recipe for trail mix on there that was very healthy and very natural. So, I knew it was right up your alley.
And I did your mushroom stroganoff because I really like mushrooms. And I made it with mushrooms I grow myself, so...
Perfidia, was it?
How
do you spell that?
Perfida.
Thank you, and last name?
Dixon.
Dixon.
Lovely, and just hold still.
So what are you doing? I don't know.
Lovely. Well, now you've got your ID badge. I'll just develop it at the pharmacist's. And
Why do I have an ID
you'll be
badge?
ready. Well, you're joining us, of course.
Joining what?
The Little Gravesend on Sea.
Is that my ID badge?
Skeleton crew.
No, I just pulled out. This is mine. I pulled out of my own pocket.
You're saying like, is that what I look like?
I've never looked in a mirror. I don't know.
We are called the Skeleton Crew.
Okay, well,
Despite my objections.
I actually came here to find a book about the flying horse, but
one of the most fascinating of Gravemark's legends.
Myths.
Heritage.
Wait.
No,
I actually
sorry.
haven't heard about this one. What's going on?
Well, Perfidia, you seem to be the enthusiast here. It would be quite a relief not to have to tell a story for once, won't it? So the horse is essentially...
there's a magic flying horse that lived here in Little Gravesmark-on-Sea. 200 years ago was when it was first sighted, but then it was sighted several times over the years afterwards, and the last sighting was, well, I saw it last Tuesday.
Did you? Whereabouts?
Just flying over my wood.
Flying over your wood, you say? Fascinating.
I saw it, and so I know that it must be out there somewhere. It must be immortal or certainly long living. And so I'm trying to find some information about it because I want to find it and find where maybe it lives, because I'd really like to make friends with it and go for a ride on a flying horse. I think that's
The government representative who is been kind of hearing this from the background has kind of been setting you up. He's been packing down, ready to leave. Like, this sounds like an excellent group, and just kind of like shoves you all together. Like takes this is absolutely up the alley, and just like signs you all up. Very hastily gets you to sign something before you even really know what's going on. And he's packed up and he's out. And then since then, the four of you have been working on this little project together.
I mean,
Marvellous.
You do know that Pegasus Woods is just a name, right?
But why is it called that?
I don't know.
When she said she grew her own mushrooms,
Yes.
do you think she meant
Yes.
rat?
Perfidia, I would love to do an exhibition on the horse at some point. I wonder, would you mind, I've placed some paper in front of you, would you mind just drawing this horse?
Oh, yes,
What you think of this horse? I'd love to display it. Take your time.
Yes, okay. No, yeah, I'll do that. Well.
I did wonder
So
what those whiteboards were for.
Yes. Well.
So you've had a few inconsequential cases What might they have been? Just a little roundup of a few of the inconsequential things that you have been sent to look into.
Very loud rattling shed that turned out to be a cat.
Okay.
I definitely.
Have they all been cats?
I
Great, actually.
I only realised.
Ironically, we go to a cat cafe.
I only realised
That's
halfway
real.
through. I was like, oh wait, cat cafe. Oh well, too late now.
Great.
Are we talking about ghosts?
Yeah.
That's actually a really good drawing so far.
Yeah. Damn it, just I thought you'd be like, just draw a silly doodle, but you're properly like going into it. This is so good. I'm so excited to see this. I think that having used a disposable camera, because she doesn't understand digital ones, nor will she.
Wait, I have to ask.
Yes.
How old is Camellia?
Oh,
21.
well, she's yeah, she and her wife have been married for at least 40 years. So she
So
must be sort of in her 60s, I think.
That's adorable.
In her 60s, I think.
I would have been equally enthused if she had been 21.
Yeah.
Either way, it's very good.
It's the wife backstory that ages her. No, I think because she only knows how to use digital cameras, she took it to the pharmacist to be developed, and a couple of the photos came out with like strange weird blobs on them, and like a streak of light in the background, and similarly it just turned out that there were like cats messing with the equipment. So like the streak was like a cat hair, and she was like, oh well, into the museum it goes.
Professor, that's where you had your finger on the lens again.
Oh yes, that's actually 100% Perfidio's ID photo.
Yeah.
It's just the edge of Ratman's like fluffy matted hair, and then Camelia's little finger. So I think there was a mystery of the photographs for a while.
I like it.
Well, my sister came to visit me in my camper van. She said.
Ah,
Oh.
well.
But it was quite nice.
As a ghost?
Yes.
Mm.
If I had to provide one criticism, not much of a mystery. I mean, I realised mine was just cats in a photo lab, but really, if you knew who she was.
Well, I don't think she was saying it was a mystery. I think it's just, a nice thing.
Well, we'll investigate it regardless.
She was a cat as well.
Oh,
Then it is a mystery.
your sister is a cat?
No. My sister came to visit me as a cat.
Oh.
So you saw a cat. That's what you're telling us. I see.
How do you know? Are these the mushrooms again?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you guys are working together for a little while now. How well do you think you know each other? You bonded quite well, or are you still relatively new? I mean, bonded as much as well.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I feel like we've bonded as much as colleagues can.
Yeah, some of you still trying to like crack that Warren shell to
Yeah.
find out what's going on in there, but he seems nice enough.
But I think like Warren is definitely like he, for lack of a better word, tolerates them all a lot more than other people. But not because he doesn't like people, but more just because like, okay, I'm vaguely comfortable around you guys.
I think Camellia has tried to make it like a real, we're having a real good go at it. So she sort of brought in like 50s snacks, but it's all like the horrible like congealed pineapple jelly and like all those, or maybe in the 70s where people were just doing food crimes. Like those like jelly loaf meat combinations. So she's definitely like, she's made the efforts, but it depends on how much you all can stomach sort of like egg custards, but the custard is replaced with Angel Delight with like gherkin in. She's very, but I think she thinks that you're all very good friends of hers. Very good friends.
Thanks, I'm not hungry.
Oh, Ratman. I love it. I actually love it. It's so good. It looks like it's floating, just. I love it. Well, I'm convinced that is absolutely going up in the Heritage Museum.
This is evidence.
An eyewitness.
Not sure what for yet, but it's evidence.
Evidence of something.
You just see a tiny trickle of blood going out of Warren's nostril.
You've also all definitely been introduced to Patience, who definitely seems way more normal. She just like comes by to pick.
Yeah.
And
Julia up.
occasionally talks in a slight Russian accent, but you're not sure what that means.
Yeah, she's
Just slips out.
forever
Patience-
like staunching bullet wounds
Yeah.
and like drinking vodka, pouring it on. And I'm like, Patience, darling. She's like, do not call me. Hello, friends, comrades of the spy. Ghosts, lots of blood. I'm busy day at the clinic, dear. Yeah, let's
Yes, this is other people's
Patience,
blood.
is that...
the blood of others.
Well, this is actually.
Patience, why are you wearing a false moustache?
Oh, do not worry about it. It's fine. It was from one of Nurse's playing joke.
Right.
Oh, what a jolly place to work, darling. See you at
Da.
home. Mwah.
Commander, is that you? Cool. All right. So yeah, so you've got a good rapport going on. You feel relatively comfortable in each other's company. A few odd little cases here and there, like we say. But one day, the owner of the local cat cafe, give me her name.
Oh, I was gonna say
I went to Alice immediately for some reason.
Nigel Farringdon is the name that came to
Isn't
mind.
that an actual person? Sounds like a person.
Not to my knowledge.
It sounds like someone though.
Nigel
Oh, yeah.
and Alice Farringdon
Sorry?
own the cat cafe together.
Yeah.
It's very wholesome.
The
Nigel and
Farringdons.
The Farringdons. The Farrington.
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah. But yeah, they came to you to
The
say.
Cheshire Cat Cafe.
That's fine. That's what I was
Hey.
thinking.
That's good. That's good.
You
Yeah.
don't have to be mad to work here, but it helps.
Yeah.
But we are.
Oh, yeah. Whoa.
Yeah, so they've come to you to say they've had to close the cafe because of all the activity. It's out of control, as Sade said it. And they said there's a few other reports as well around the place, just kind of little bits and pieces. But yeah, they've come to say they've had to, the last couple of days have just gone out of control. Customers have been fleeing the premises, and sometimes the cats have been going mad. So they've had to close the cafe and come to you to call for help. So I think we're going to open on you guys outside the cafe. Who would be there? And I assume you would be using your clones.
Oh yeah.
Your
I'm
avatars, essentially, is what they really are.
Oh, I'm definitely not there. I'm allergic to cats.
That's fair. I think, yeah, it makes sense for Warren to be kind of manning in the chair in the library, surrounded in the screens, like on the comms. Where with the professor's like, how does it? I can hear him, but how does this work?
Follow Warren.
Whilst the three of you are in the kind of the VR chairs in the back of the room where Warren is with your clone forms, who are a little bit maybe tougher and more durable than you are, and a bit well kitted out. Outside the cat cafe, ready to go, and you've been given the keys. Alice is waiting with you in the room, just kind of watching the monitors. You guys have got little head cams on, broadcasting to Warren at all times so he can monitor. What else do you have equipment-wise?
I was going to suggest if we have head cams, then we also have like those sort of like jewelers like telescopic lenses. So like. So you can like change to like UV or infrared,
yeah.
you know. So like ghosts.
One
So,
or two.
well, I was like, you know, like
Focus.
so, you know, ghosts are only visible on a specific
Sometimes, yeah,
spectrum, or
sometimes, yeah.
like
Makes sense.
yeah, like they can manifest in sort of visible light, but I think they generally exist on like the X-ray spectrum, or yeah, more so the shorter wavelength, I would say, rather than the longer ones.
Camelia's has one of those like long grabby things. You know, like the ones that would usually have like a T-Rex head, but has just a sensible grabber. It could be a T-Rex head. Yes, it's
I
a
like-
T-Rex head. It's because she kept dropping her phone and couldn't get all the way down to the floor anymore, so she bought it so she could scoop up. But then when this started coming,
68?
look, you can have trouble bending down at any age. Okay.
I have it now.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I like to think that like she did have this grabber, but then the head broke in like an operation or something, so she just brought it to Warren, and Warren just like there, and it's like, and it just happened to be like child's plastic T-Rex
Yeah.
head or something.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
It was a normal one, and now it's been modified.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Camellia doesn't quite want to say that this is ridiculous because she really like wants to be friends with you. So she's like, "How lovely, dear.
How creative.
What a,
I d-
what a
I-
new take on a practical piece of equipment.
It was what was there.
Lovely." So she's got that. She's got like maybe like a Hessian sack or a bag. These are purely for taking artifacts that she finds putting in. And I think also
Has the
she
word
has
swag crossed out.
yeah, exactly, and heritage written on it. She works for the British Museum. Everybody, no, I'm kidding.
Commentary.
But she's, I think also maybe she has appealed to patients, or maybe like Warren to have like maybe. Everyone has basically like the equivalent of a clone first aid kit, if that could happen. Like nothing's gonna save anybody from like a serious gooification, but you know, something that can splint an arm or like bandages to wrap up goo spilling.
I was going to say, I'm envisioning like a sort of slightly gelatinous substance that like you just sort of like pour on.
It
Like,
just
you
sort of
know,
solidifies,
yeah, it's sort of like Resident Evil style, just kind of.
just rub this plant in your face and you'll be fine.
It's what we
And
call
it's-
well gel, and it makes you well. And it's gel.
I was,
Well gel.
yeah. Make sure everyone's got
Okay.
your. Yeah, make sure everyone's got your well gel. I really don't want to have to clean up after anyone who gets gooed again.
All right. Anything else you want to add, we can add as we go. But yes, you've open out front of the cafe. Night has just fallen. It's winter. It's short days here. There's snow on the ground. It's lovely.
We don't get
night
this
has
back in Tennessee.
night has fallen as you stand outside the cat cafe, prepared. One of you with the keys, ready to move on.
Kick
your
in the
next
door. Smash! I feel alive! I was just watching like, don't worry dear, we're official government task force. I punch through the window.
Jenny's there holding the keys. Like,
I'm kidding. I am kidding. That is an impulse that Camellia would not have, just Vic does.
I just feel like it's happened now. That's
Yeah.
Look,
did you just lose control of your clone? Like you pressed the wrong button or something?
Yeah.
So then it just that's what
The cat cafe, I'm going to say, is in the middle of a block of other shops. So it has the front entrance. Presumably, it has an alley entrance as well. But otherwise, it's contained on both sides.
so what has Alice told us is going on? Like, do we think there's...
Things being thrown around. The cat's behaving very strangely,
Okay.
almost hostile sometimes. She said the floor shook at one point, as if something was kind of like pushing up from underneath. It's just, it's a bit too much.
Okay. Well, I would like to state for the record that I have a bag of dreamy cat treats in my pocket.
Logical.
that's good.
Warren Bravo, check the alley. The rest spread out in a triangle formation.
So we're just open the door, right? I didn't understand any of that. Sorry.
Warren, go and check the alleyway to see if there's anything there. The rest of you move forward as if you're searching for a lost child, so you move in a line so you don't miss anything.
Lost
So-
child.
Warren's kind of remotely
Clone.
controlled clone has already started moving along the block of buildings to head towards the alley, while the three of you are like, what's happening?
What's happening? Move forward.
Open the door, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
The cafe inside is dark. It's a fairly sizable place, and you can see there's cat trees all dotted about along the walls, kind of between the tables.
Cats grow on
And
trees.
there are
Yes.
cats do grow on trees. And there are
No, stop, you're better than this.
and there are.
You're
And
better
I'm
than
gonna.
this. Don't let his influence mar
How?
your record.
How dare you!
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to someone salvageable.
And there are.
Hurtful! Accurate but hurtful!
I'm going to add an aspect to the scene. There are
Cats.
dozens of cats. So that is a communal aspect that you may spend a fate point to activate at some point to affect a dice roll if relevant. But there, as you enter there are just cats lying everywhere, some of them strolling about. There's some bowls of food, as you can kind of tell from the back because they keep going back there.
I'll close the door, make sure they don't get out.
Are the cats, I mean, are they all just chilling, or are they all like, meh? Or are they like...
That was the man in my ear told me to do that. Can you see that, Gavin? Cool.
Gavin talking to you now.
He tells me to do things.
What, guys? One more for continuity.
So yes, so the cafe. Well, there's nothing unusual happening right now. Just a dark cafe full of cats, which might seem slightly unusual in some ways, but
You said they were like pacing into the back and then coming back out.
yeah.
Can I just open the door, look into the back room, see if anything unusual is back
Move
there?
through. Some of them kind of come up to rub around your legs. They're obviously used to people coming in.
Pet
and being
cat.
affectionate.
Pet cat.
Stroke the cat, stroke the cat.
We pet the cats for 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, we definitely lose a lot of time with the cat.
You do go around to the back, but there is a slight back room where you can see there are trays of food out for the cats, so they can come and they don't have to bother the clientele with that, as well as litter trays and things for them just in a secondary back room, so that none of that disturbs the cafe.
2 questions. Have the food trays been filled recently?
It looks like Alice filmed them just before they noped out of there.
Cool.
They didn't try and herd any of the cats out because they didn't seem like they wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. And my second question, how big is the room?
Don't you?
Is there a north-facing window? Sorry, I have to do this.
Come on, Kristian.
If you
I
don't,
need-
if you don't understand this reference, go watch the video on this.
The front has a big open window on
You
the
said it
front
was-
side.
You said it was like a line of shops. That to me says it's been here quite a while. It might even be part of our local heritage, and I am a meticulous heritage enthusiast. Could I maybe take stock of like how old the buildings are, what is either side of it? I would just like to have more context of the general area.
Yeah, I'm gonna say you probably do know the town relatively well, and you know what this block was. I'll let you fill in the details there if you would like to. Otherwise, I'm happy to.
I would love to. I think this was developed. There was always sort of a market street here. I think it was sort of a central location to the town. I'm imagining like a high street that has sort of a historic market on Sundays.
This is the professor saying this out loud to you, by the way, whether you want her to or not.
Yeah, unavoidably. So this part of town has actually been the location of a lovely historic market since really the 12th century, is as far back as our records go. But we have no doubt before that, perhaps even back to Roman Britain.
Do I see anything in the alleyway?
But the point is that to the left you'll see a butcher's. The butcher's have been here since about 1708 in different versions. And to the right is the old White Horse pub, which I'm sure you'll all be very familiar with, but certainly Patience and I are. So it's a butcher's on one side, pub on the other, and this particular block of flats was, or this particular kind of row of shops was put in a sort of an economic investment in sort of the mid-1920s, in Selfridges was really beginning to sort of pop up.
For the love of
So
God, do
Clone
I see
One.
anything in the alleyway?
I was fascinated by this. I was fascinated.
I could just listen to you talk all
Clone
day.
One has
Thank
gone to the back alley, and you've just kind of been instructing him just look in various directions at the moment. So he kind of follows simple instructions. You do see there is a back door that leads out there to where kind of the bins and the dumpsters are. But you do also notice that there is, it looks like it's not used anymore. There is an old kind of cellar hatch, like a barrel hatch in the floor that may be for this building, or it's definitely for this one of these buildings, but it could be for an old hatch for the cat cafe. I'm not sure.
Does it just seem to be sort of an old storm door? Is there anything on top of it that's blocking the entry?
No, it just looks like old and rusted up and disused.
Okay.
There is one of the kind of the dumpsters does have one of its wheels on it, which implies that it's not gone unnoticed for a
Yeah,
while.
it's not gonna drop away if someone
No.
steps on it. Yeah. Anything inside of interest?
Really cute little kitty. Yes, you are.
Anything
Yes, you
inside
are.
of interest relevant to the ghosts?
Oh.
Well, it's a 1920s building between the butchers and the the pub, but these cats don't seem perturbed in the least.
They seem fun and very cute.
Are there any ghosts here?
Legally, you have to tell us.
Actually, Jenny, that's an urban myth.
Oh.
You guys, as you're there, you haven't explored fully yet, but you do hear a sort of clanging of metal from the kitchen, just sort of like something being knocked over or knocked against something else.
I go to the kitchen.
I'll open the back door for Warren Bravo.
Sure. So you head down the corridor to the back door to open to see the Warren Bravo there just going, just looking at things under instruction, presumably.
Take note and converge.
And yeah, you head through to the kitchen where you can see, again, the kitchen is also full of cats. It seems like as soon as when the owners looked out, the cat's just like, okay, well, there's wandered in there. But as you kind of watch, you can see that the cats are jumping up onto the sides, or they're all over the tops of the cookers and ovens and everything. All these places, presumably they're not allowed to be and should know. But they also do seem to be knocking things down into like a big pile on the floor, and they're like purposely like knocking things and then nuzzling them across and then pushing them into a big pile. Just on the floor, which you almost didn't notice at first, and you kind of leaned round one of the counters to see this pile of cutlery and metallic objects, and these cats seem to be accumulating. And now you can, as you watch, you can see that they have got some sort of uniformities, and they have like a shift pattern. It's kind of coming in, doing a specific task, and then leaving. And another one comes in and does something, and you just kind of like, yeah, odd.
Can we work out? Is it at all possible to tell what they're doing? What does it just literally look like they're putting?
Isn't they're just gathering metal things together in a big pile on the floor.
Metal things.
Metal thing.
Jenny's still outside.
You're just the cutest little kitty, aren't you? Oh, everyone is gone. Oh, I'm coming.
Is there anything I'd know about a local mine or anything? Would metal ping any local history with me?
Yeah, as you retreat back from there, I leave the door open for Warren. What do we call him?
Warren Bravo.
Warren Bravo.
I'll leave it on the latch and set to so the cats don't.
Yeah. When the door was opened, I ordered Warren Bravo to join the room.
Yeah, follows you in, yeah. Go ahead.
Come on, keep up, Warren.
But yeah, you come back to the kitchen as Perfidia's there, just kind of going, these cats are doing.
Well noted, Redden.
I'm going to get my clone to pick up one of the pans from the pile.
You go to the bar, pick up a pan while you kind of think of this. As soon as you pick it up, all the cats in stop, freeze in place, and just turn to look at you. And you guys are now watching Perfidia stood in the middle of the room holding a pan, just surrounded by cats that are all just frozen in place, just staring at her.
I have a weapon.
Don't threaten the cats, Perfidia.
Was it all very much like all simultaneously?
Oh, yeah, and slowly, slow pan of cat heads.
I imagine that Jenny was holding the cat. She didn't want to put it down that she'd been stroking. She just picked it up to go into the kitchen. Did the cat that she's holding also simultaneously just go?
No, just the ones in the kitchen. You
Uh-huh.
want to
Do the-
kind of like nestled in like.
Okay.
Oh.
Do the cats seem like? Is it like? Do the cats seem otherwise normal? Like, do they have? They don't all have like the same glowing red eyes or anything.
They seem otherwise normal, but they've got that, because it is dark in here, they have got that slight kind of glow off your cameras of cat's eyes, which is a little creepy in its own way.
Ghost cats, what are you doing?
I'm coughing.
Is-
Sorry. That's what I'm doing.
Is the you say this is a kitchen? Like, is this a commercial kitchen that's attached to the Catch Cafe, or is it
like
like
a commercial kitchen?
right.
It's the cafe kitchen.
Yeah. So
It's quite extensive, but not wild.
A
Like,
cat
do-
commercial kitchen, if you will.
I will not, but I appreciate the effort.
Sorry.
Is like that storm cellar door. Do I think with what I assume is Warren's fairly decent spatial awareness? Do I think that beneath where the pile currently is would be a cellar of some sort?
It wouldn't be unusual to think that. It would make sense. You don't know for sure, but yeah, that door could indeed lead to beneath this room, or beneath this building in general.
Can I pick up another pan and see if they look at the pan or me?
Ooh.
I'm going to step away from Ratman.
You step forward and pick up another pan and step back, and the cats scatter, flee. Every single cat in the room. The cat in your arm kind of gets startled by the sudden movement of the other cats. They run out back into the cafe.
Does it jump out of my arms, or does it just start?
It sort of freaks out and startled, but like if it will escape if you let it.
I mean, I would let it escape, but I'm...
Yeah. It doesn't like try and follow those. It's just kind of simply startled by the noise and sudden movement. It's kind of like scrambles up, gets from your shoulder a bit. It's kind of like jumps off and runs in the opposite direction.
I
Put the pan back.
I don't know if this is a thing, but I'm going to suggest that it's a thing. I'm just going to again in sort of like order giving mode. I'm just going to go lenses.
I'm going to put the pan back.
Just go. Anybody see anything? As like we scan the room with the proverbial UVs.
I really like the idea that we have like 3 different things that we can try with the things, and so this is down to a T. We've done this before.
Yeah.
So you're on UV, you're on ultra-red, I'm on night vision.
Love it.
So as you cycle through, the 3 of you trying testing out these, and while you're cycling through, your sort of vague knowledge of the area and
Vague?
historical. Well,
Vague?
not vague.
I
You're
am
very
meticulous.
You're very meticulous knowledge of the area.
She is from round
I
here.
am from around here. My patient Dr. Wife's spy will hear about this. Wait, spy? What's that about? Never mind.
It's pronounced Weefsby.
Whispy, yes, my doctor.
Pronounced Wi-Fi. So as you're kind of cycling your memory banks, there is something of a... It's not history as such, but I've been reading about kind of spirituality and supernatural elements throughout history in the wake of everything that's been going on. And there is a conductive element to metal that has supposedly been said, especially to certain types of metal. It's possible that a lot of this is not that, but if you're trying to find something and you're gathering metal together, that could be a thing. But as I'm going to say, Perfidia switches to the ultraviolet, you can see that there is just kind of an energy, like a glow to this pile that does seem to be kind of drawing downwards. It's definitely odd, like something is reaching up around from beneath the floor, just kind of gently, just kind of reaching, like little fingers, just kind of gently reaching at the edges of this pile.
Okay, I relay this information.
They did say that it felt like something was pushing up from under the floor in the daytime, didn't they, Alice and Nigel? Perhaps we ought to find a way down there.
I think that's a good idea.
We should disperse the pile first.
Why?
Well, I suppose if it's potentially gathering energy or acting as a sort of conduit, we don't want to be right under it.
I mean, I guess, but at the same time, if there's a bunch of energy, maybe we want to direct it somewhere. It's got to go somewhere, right?
Yes.
The ghosts operate in UV. We don't. We can only see this in UV. Probably means it's something they're doing, not we're doing.
Can you hear us? We come in peace. We are the skeleton crew, but we're not here to like be threatening or anything.
Anything in the room that isn't fully attached to the wall or floor just kind of like gently just vibrates.
This can't be a cat, can it?
And then, but only for a moment before it stops and slows down. But it seems like it was a response to you.
We come in peace. All right? Shake once for yes, we're totally chill, and twice for we're gonna murder y'all.
The pile of things suddenly dissipates all over as if it was pushed down from above by something with some great force. Scatters across the floor. And you guys kind of jump back as these kind of knives and things kind of fly at your feet.
That wasn't an option, was it?
See, they're totally chill.
Well, yes, but there is a knife in my clone's foot.
And that wasn't a shake.
It was Oh, use
No.
your goo glue.
Thank you. My
whatever.
well gel.
Well gel, sorry.
Well
I
gel.
always.
Thank you.
I still think Goo Glue is a better name.
Yes.
It's
Well,
called
Well,
Goo Glue in the
not.
States.
And then we can do a brand deal with
No,
Lady
no.
Gaga.
I'm afraid Goo Glue was a failed.
Goo Glue Gaga.
It was a failed Flubber sequel
Don't-
by one of the local sort of British independent studios. So it's all been taken up. It's from the 60s, I'm afraid. So we have to call it Well Gel, like Zootropolis or the Avengers Assemble.
I always wondered why that film was called something different here.
Well, there we go. It's because there was a 60s film called The
Interesting. You
Avengers.
learn something new every day when I'm around
yeah.
you.
Yes, well, whether you want to or not.
Yeah, indeed.
Emily, don't descend to her level. you don't need to descend to her level.
Calm
You're
down,
better than
Emily.
that.
Calm down.
I hope that one day in my life I ascend to the level of Vic.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'll
that
pay
is
you
my
later.
dream.
Dream.
So say we all.
Pay you later. There we go. Thank you.
So with your knowledge of the history of the building street, would you know if there's a cellar or something or anything? Yeah, like we said, would you know?
I think that would be a reasonable request to make.
Presumably.
I found a
This
door
This
outside.
exact building you can't say, but it's not uncommon.
Yes, well, it's not uncommon, especially
Warren
for periods of
brought
this.
me
this
a door
affair.
outside. Found a door outside.
Just punched through.
This is how Warren takes his aggression out.
Well, yes, I suppose there should be. It might be sort of extended from storage from next door, either next door, or would it belong to
Alice, who's in the room with Ron, who's kind of listening into us, says, we don't have a cellar, I don't have a basement level that I'm aware of. Right? Nothing to do with that.
Well, there must be something.
Then
under
what's the
here.
door in the alleyway? Storm door.
I don't know, there's something else, I guess. A sewer drain or something? I don't know.
Should we investigate the door?
Mm.
The energy was pulling downwards.
It's a metallic door. It could theoretically be mistaken for a sewer, but you're fairly sure it's not.
Let's go through the door.
You said the energy was flowing downwards. Let's go through the door.
To the door.
I'm going to put one of the pans in my heritage sack.
I-
Just for
Historic. It's
Historic.
historic now.
Yeah, it's historic.
Historic
No,
ghost
yeah.
attack.
heritage.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to make sure that
Everything's
Alice is talking
history.
that way while I'm
Everything is historic eventually.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. This was involved in a supernatural event. When I write this up, having one example of a metal thing from here, actually two, I'll put in the knife that was in my clothes.
Yeah,
first.
that's good.
Who wants to try and break through the door? The storm door, the bower hatch.
I'll give it a go.
I'm going to take several steps back because they probably don't need my help.
That's true. I'm not giving you a point for that.
Now, I will say,
I did a point and everything.
before you give this a go, Ratman, I was just wondering, did you see my exhibition on historical locks and closements?
I didn't see that one, no. So maybe this is more your.
No, I would just love to give you
It was a-
create an advantage for you, maybe. Perhaps by using my that cost me a fate point, right? Because I'm using an aspect.
If you want to use an aspect, if you want to create an advantage as an action,
Actually-
I'll allow you to. It will require
Lovely.
a dice roll.
I didn't see the exhibition, but I did get given as a Christmas gift the accompanying brochure.
Oh, excellent!
Yes.
I'm glad. Well, then let's if it's allowed, I will use my action to roll to create an advantage for you to see how much of that brochure we can remember together. Is that all right?
This will create the advantage, but the dice roll will just determine how many times you're allowed to use it.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, that makes
So
sense.
baseline just a zero.
-1, you have to forget something from your exhibition. Oh, it's a -3.
-3.
It's those
Hooray.
blue dice there with 4 negatives. That is a -3. That is a
Are you-
-3. That is a -3. I
You're-
love fate and to play games.
I presume you're being clever though, so you are adding 3 to it.
Oh, you're so right.
Ooh.
And can I tag an aspect on this? To
Well,
give
I will
myself
say
this
that a tie, a 0 will put you at a tie, which is technically failure, or you can succeed with consequence.
I mean, I really do want to help you out. And we do really need to get into here. I feel like... Okay, how do you think about... how do you like this for a consequence? I think Camellia, having mentioned her exhibition, has suddenly realised she can't actually remember that much about it. So she's sort of half detached her VR headset to sort of flick through maybe a notebook at her side. So even though while she's looking for this, she can still be heard, so she can still guide Ratman. But maybe her clone sort of, and she would, it would be difficult for her to perform any physical feats until she gets that headset back on, or that's kind of
okay.
temporary.
So you've had to like dip out for a minute. So yeah, you're not currently okay. I'll allow that as a concept. You're not currently on site, as it were. So you've stepped out of the scene for at least a moment. Okay, so yeah, okay, it's an advantage that you can utilise to give yourself a +2 if you need it. You don't have to. You can roll the dice first.
Okay. I'd like to mention that I did take one of those pans and put it on my head.
Okay.
So that should give me some head protection. Right?
What approach are you using for this?
Oh well. Do we?
As in literally mechanically as well.
Oh, that's such a good question.
Yeah,
Do we know it's locked?
I mean, you said it was rusted over.
It's rusted shut for sure.
Yeah.
Whether it's locked or not is unclear, but it could just be rusted shut.
Okay, well, so also I'm going to bring a knife with me as well, and I'd like to be careful in my approach to trying to get the rust off and open the door.
Okay.
With the knife. +1.
Plus.
Plus you're careful.
+3.
Damn.
+4.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah, that's plentiful for you to kind of scratch through, get through the rust side, scrape through until you get a gap enough to get the knife under, and push it down and like crack it up. You don't need to add the +2, but you can if you would like. If it had to cost you a fate point, but we do have that local knowledge that can be used once now.
Okay.
But only whilst you're not in your clone, because you
Understood.
need the book in front of you to get that access. So whilst you have temporarily dipped out, you can give people some extra knowledge on what's potentially the workings of this underground area. So basically, you've immediately looked up exactly what kind of hatch this is. It does look like it probably was a barrel hatch that had just designed, not really designed for people to go up and down, but definitely designed like big enough for like a chunky thing to just be shoved down there. Which implies that somewhere along the street must have been maybe it used to be the White Horse used to be bigger. Did you say White Horse before? I think you said.
Yeah.
Maybe that used to be bigger and used to extend this far. Used to have a second basement maybe.
Makes sense. They would probably buy the next doors. If the next shop didn't need its basement, they could always buy it and then use it as storage.
So it was probably installed and then just forgotten for a long, long time. But yeah, you managed to scrape it up and crack the door open, and you can see this just chute that just goes down. Getting back out again might be tricky, but you've managed to crack that hatch open quite easily.
I'm going to jump in.
Infrared.
But before you can, as you're about to say something, you suddenly through the camera see Perfidia, whoa, jump, and just go disappear down.
Infrared. Red. I would genuinely like to look down with the night vision, with the infrared.
Sure, yeah. You see, you look through the infrared as Perfidia kind of disappears and kind of hits the bottom, so they come like, and you can see her just kind of slide out on her ass, just roll forwards, slightly out of view. You can see it does look. It goes down to a very dusty, cobweb-filled open space that you obviously now rolled into. We'll get to what you can see in a second.
But it's it's more of a like whoop bonk rather than a whee.
Yeah, it's like into the depths of hell I go.
Yes, the notebook on the portal to hell. Might have been a bit late on this one, fellas. I do apologise, folks and ladies.
What's
The
Jenny doing?
legally distinct hellmouth.
I'm not going to jump immediately down it because I am not quick. I know my character that I'm in.
Clamber in.
Are you all right down there? I'm not gonna just jump down until I hear back from her.
Yes, you dust stuff off. You've hit this massive kind of dust that's kicked up, and there are cobwebs everywhere. It looks like someone hasn't been in here for a long time. But as you kind of scan the room, you do see that it does look like there is another way out of this chamber, just off to the left. And you can hear meowing coming from in there.
Okay. We're good, Jenny. I think there are some ghost cats.
Oh! I jumped down.
So now just Warren Bravo, sorry, and your clone are left in the alley as your kind of afflicted, but kind of trying to find information about this. You have found something about the old pub that is slightly troubling. You've gone looking through some books, you kind of like seen some references to some names, things, and you're sort of like, that sounds odd. So you find like an old book of like the old religions of the town. Then you start kind of looking, the pub had some other uses in the past. It seemed like it was once a kind of, it's a bit unclear, but some kind of, I don't want to say cult because that's somewhat alarmist. Like what at first appeared to be like a Masonic kind of gathering place, but they always claim no, nothing to do with that. We never had a meeting hall in this town. No one's ever connected. It's been connected to a lot of different groups who have all immediately gone, no, that's not us, definitely not us, not us at all.
We'd say if it was.
Yeah, it's weird. It's catching you as weird just simply because no one seems to know what it was, but everyone knows that it was there.
It's very strange. I'll relay that over my headset and say, well, do be careful down there. We really don't know who it can be attributed to. Very strange.
Professor, are you coming?
Yes, I suppose if there's nothing else I can find out, I'll...
Well, that aspect will go off the table
When I
as
do
soon as
that.
you go back in, unless you dip out.
Professor?
Yes?
Professor, I like to think that like Warren in his chair set up like kind of has like either like a button or something that he just instinctually presses and it brings up like a tiny little like mini screen that shows the actual library.
Right.
And he sees that the professor is like half wearing her
Somehow,
her
can I
VR
say,
set.
somehow, even though it's definitely a CCTV one, the professor's still holding it like your Gran, which is just like half her face is in the in the frame. Like Gran holds an iPad. She doesn't really understand. She's like, "Yes, hello, I'm here. I'm just flicking through something." Yes, could you bring me down, or do I need to hop in?
You need to hop in, Professor.
Right, you are. I'll be with you in a second, and then I'll pop me.
You can keep it on there, just it's not. No one can currently use it
Okay.
whilst you're in your clone. That's the consequence. Is that it's not usable unless you dip out.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so like I can't look stuff up in battle.
Yeah.
but
In
I can still
battle,
use it.
And
Yeah,
it does bother you. This is just slightly outside of your knowledge area. Like, oh, you hate not knowing things.
It's very irritating. Right, in we go then. Whee! Darn it, I forgot to hook a rope up. Ah, well.
I was wondering.
Warren Bravo's still up there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Warren,
Yes,
do you have that rope that I packed for you?
yes.
Lovely. Would you mind securing it to something in the alleyway? Only I forgot. I got so caught up in the youthful vigour of leaping down a tube that I forgot to secure an escape route.
I just want to add to the scene that the professor is definitely shouting up the tube despite having a direct communication to Warren, and Warren Bravo can't hear anyway.
But Warren at Prime is getting an absolute earful. Yes, hello! Warren Bravo! I do apologise
There's
to
a
Gavin
long
and Katie in the other
pause.
room who just had their eardrums popped by them.
There's a long pause and then just yes.
Thank you!
And yes, I instruct Warren Bravo to take the aforementioned packed rope and tie
Just
it
secure
to
it too. Finds a dumpster that you can
Yeah.
secure it. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
comes up and drops it down the hole. Is he going to wait up the top, or is he going to go down?
No, he's going to go down, but I think in typical Warren fashion, he's going to like make completely sure that the rope is secured, like that it's tied in,
Sure, yeah. So he's
multiple places, and that sort of.
he's
thing.
up there for a minute, just really securing this rope.
And
as
then
the
he
rest of you
will
down.
carefully jump down.
Okay, have to come down. So while Robin's doing that, are you guys investigating? You were there first, Perfidia.
So the meowing is coming from behind this door.
Are you waiting for them to come down?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So
What have you found out, Ratman?
I have heard some meowing. Listen. Oh, I hear it.
It's clearly coming from multiple sources, and it's almost conversational.
Meow. 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 3 hours later.
We all had a lot of pizza. Right, and it's coming from behind this door?
Yes, seems to be.
Sounds like it.
Fascinating. Does the door look modern?
Not particularly.
How old would you say?
Probably about as old as the basement, so it's probably a good.
Couple of
Probably
hundred.
back in the.
Wood.
No, this area's not. They're probably back in the maybe the 50s. It was this kind of was
Okay,
contract
quite
might have been
nice.
underused.
Wood, metal.
Combinations, but it looks like it's strong and sturdy.
How
It was built to
high is
last.
the door?
I want to knock on the door.
Oh, sound effects.
Hello. Pardon me, awfully much ghosts, but can we come in?
The meowing quietens down, and there's a from the other side of the door. There's something heavy just hit, like a person just ran straight into it.
Are we still going for the one knock for yes and two for no? 'Cause that did sound like a one, which does mean yes, we can come in.
Jennifer, I was wondering whether or not you'd considered the something that I've only just considered. We've sort of looked at these ghosts thus far as sort of potential additions to the landscape, or at least a minor nuisance, at most a minor nuisance. But have you ever stopped to consider that perhaps these ghosts are malicious?
The door is opening out towards you, revealing the room on the other side, just unlocked by itself. And on the other side, you can see it's an open room, a big square room, and there's cats all dotted around the outside of it. And at the far end is a box, maybe a good couple of feet wide and tall, a square box with a cat sat dead on top of it. It's a wooden box that definitely looks like it's in better. No, it's in better condition than everything else that's in here. There's a cat sat on top of it, a jet black cat, just sat perfectly still with its tail wrapped around, just staring dead ahead right at you. And you can see that there's drag marks in the dirt leading up to the door, up to this box, as if the box has been relatively recently dragged inside.
Fascinating. Are there any
Hello.
marks on the box? Oh, sorry, I'd just like to look at the box as far as I can. Are there any marks on the box? Is it like, is it obviously like an alcohol box? Is it a crate of storage? It's just a wooden box.
Looks like an old wooden box. There are some markings on it. You're knowledgeable enough that you would recognise that this is a very old artifact of a box. It was built to survive a long time. It's also got some metallic trim, which, even though it's very dirty, has a slight glint to it. Could be gold, just around the
unfurl
edges.
the heritage sack.
Yeah.
That looks like a delightful piece of history. Go ahead, Jenny, do your thing.
Oh, yes. Hello. Meow. Hi. Hello. Pleased to meet you. My name's Jenny.
Are you
Of
going,
Jenny's Gems.
are you going into the room? Do you follow me?
I'm addressing the cat in the box.
But you're not going into the room yet.
I would. Yeah, I would probably take a few steps into the room. Let's be real.
So Jenny steps into the room.
Just while talking, all this is spilling out of her mouth as she's taking a few steps forward.
This is, again, dozens of cats.
Yeah, all the way around the outside. And the cats are around the outside are kind of fidgeting and moving about and kind of changing times with each other and kind of looking at each other, and kind of one of them like swipes at another one. Just kind of like being cats. The cat on the box is just sat rigid. If it wasn't for the fact that it was just kind of moving ever so slightly, you would assume it was an ornament of some kind, because it is jet black and you can just about tell its form and its eyes kind of glowing at you. Not glowing, but like the reflection in your infrared goggles, as it just kind of head moves ever so slightly as it kind of takes you in. You just get the sense that it's comprehending you in some way and it's sizing you up, but it doesn't respond.
What's your name? I'll just call you Cat Master. Hello, Cat Master.
I'm going to need some sort of role here.
But it's so in character. We have Rat Man, we have Cat Master. Really, what two other words can we smash together nonsensically? I can't wait.
I don't think you have any choice other than to be... I'll open it up to you interpretation, but I feel like you're at best being flashy, trying to just kind of
Yeah,
impy.
I'm trying to. Yeah, be nice to it. You know, I'm just Jenny from the block.
Boo!
It is hostile to you, so I am going to give it a dice roll, and I'm going to add 4 to this roll. So that is what you have to beat. So if any of you wish to, so that's a roll for me. That's a roll from 0 to 8. So somewhere between 0 and 8.
Can I
with an
give
average
some
of 4.
help?
If you can invoke an aspect that you think would be helpful, or you can work to create an advantage, because all 3 of you are technically there in some way.
I am proficient in crewing the skeletons.
I'll also add that if you wanted to dip out, that advantage will come back into play. If you want to be like, quick, duck out, find some cult information, that might
Great.
be very
Yeah,
useful.
that's going to be my action, I think.
So yeah, so the professor clone suddenly just goes,
Yeah.
goes into low power mode.
I like to think the professor's like on the edge and like Warren just professor.
The professor just starts like
Just a second,
frantically
Warren.
grabbing books on occult activity.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
So yeah, so you're proficient in crewing the skeleton.
Yeah, I'm going to attempt to use a stunt of crewing the skeletons. Again, I don't know if it counts as a stunt or what, but I like to think that I've been able to modify the clones to have, like...
Speak cat.
To speak cat. Yeah, no, just to have, like a tiny little... because it's essentially, it's not really, like, flesh. It's, like, nondescript biomechanical substance.
Sure.
I think that I've been able to install like just very, very small little compartments, like subdermal compartments. Not massive, but like basically I want to one of the things I wanted to have installed in everyone's clones is a tiny little spray bottle. Like sort of just like Spider-Man style in the wrists.
Down.
Is it called catnip?
Like, no,
That's the other
more
one.
Yeah.
it's more for like, you know, trying to like
Put out very.
I'm into the idea that Warren watches a lot of superhero movies and was kind of like, it's kind of like
Yeah,
tech
yeah.
these up a little bit, even if it's slightly unnecessary.
yeah. I mean, it's like it's not like when I say spray bottle, it's like you know enough to sort of like a very several large cupped hands worth of water that you could chuck on to stop a fire starting.
I think we will. We can use this to mechanize your pushing with the clone. So your that stunt. I'll say the mechanics of that stunt are that you can spend a fate point to declare something that you have done to the clones. So if you just spend a fate point, then yes, your little wrist sprays. I will allow.
Done.
First fate point.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a new functionality of your clones.
Spray bottles.
So you have a spray bottle. It's not giving you an immediate bonus, but it might be useful in defence later. You can invoke that for the knowledge for the +2 at the moment.
Yes, please.
Just into. You can do it after you roll as well, so you don't have to do it right now. Go wait to see if you smash it.
Thick.
Wait, I can.
You may take an action now if you would.
Oh,
You could
gosh.
try and create another advantage or perform your own action of
I
another
feel
kind.
very uncomfortable. I don't like being underground. I don't like being surrounded by weird cats.
Being a rat myself.
Yeah. Oh, do I have
It's
a
a-
special rat thing? Can I get the rats to come out?
I think Ratman is just a nickname everyone else is giving you.
The Pied Piper of the Graves Mark
Stunt is a rat.
I will say that you do live in the wild, so if you want to know something about dealing with animals, like animal behaviour,
Aspect is 3 giant rats in a trench coat.
Do I have a rat? Do I have a no, a pet rat.
I was hoping for a Disney princess moment where it's like, ah.
Yes! Yes!
And then like,
Can I do that?
Except instead of like robins and squirrels, it's all just rats and
It's
mangy
like,
pigeons.
It's like an enchanted.
Enchanted.
Yeah,
a
exactly.
dream is a rat, your heart lays. When you need a rat.
Okay, sorry, Kristian.
That's okay.
If I can't invoke all the rats.
I mean, that would require a roll, and I will use the ladder for that. So the way the ladder works is it has essentially
How many rats you create?
how many
And
rats you
Kristian's
create.
not like, you can't summon rats. He's like, I've actually got some paper for that.
So if I use the ladder, so the ladder is anything, it goes terrible is a -2, poor is -1, mediocre, and then it goes average, fair, good, great, superb, fantastic, epic, legendary. So basically, if you can beat 8, that's a legendary action. I'll allow you to know how to summon rats, but that's going to require an 8, which is not possible because the most you're adding is +3.
Okay, well.
But for future reference,
Good to know.
if you can figure out how to get that extra bonus,
Okay.
All
Alright.
right. Separately gave you +2. Do they stack?
if you can figure it out, but you're all currently doing something.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I mean, just in
future.
hypothetical.
For
I would-
future
For
reference.
future reference, if we all help Ratman.
I would like to do something out of character that will hopefully be good enough to provide Perfidia with a bonus. Ratman! Anybody?
I appreciated that. That's my thinking now.
That's my contribution.
No.
I think not the Ratman song, but I think an understanding of dealing with animals would make sense.
Yeah, I have an understanding of that. So is that an aspect or?
It could be an aspect if you want it to be a feature that you can call on whenever you like, or if it's a stunt, then it will add to a ability that you have. Stunts generally will require a roll or be something very specific.
Okay.
So it'll give you an advantage when dealing with animals, I think, or
Yeah,
give you
yeah,
a +2
okay, so,
bonus to dealing
yeah.
with animals.
Sorry, just because you said that I spend a fate point to modify the clones, would then that make crewing the skeletons an aspect instead?
No, that's a stunt. So spending
Okay.
fate points, I think it's better off as a stunt because you can just declare something specifically. An aspect is something you would invoke to do a variety of things.
Right.
This is just you declaring that the clones can do this now.
Right.
They have rocket boots, and I'm not taking no for an answer.
Okay.
Now,
Did I mention they all have Gatling guns on them?
Yeah. So yeah, I have an understanding of animals, so I'm going to use my understanding of animals to see if I can work out.
Sure. So I will allow you to spend a fate point to give Emily
Okay.
+2
Perfect.
for that. So you have that
Give that
now.
Deploy nukes.
You may choose to invoke the advantage aspect after your roll if you would like. So let's see what they need to beat first. I am adding 4 to this to see how hostile this cat is. Oh, it's in my glove. -1, so you only have to beat 3.
Okay. I
So this cat seems kind of like, it's almost relaxed. If a cat can relax its shoulders, this cat seems to have relaxed a little bit.
I speak cat. Well, the dice will see if I speak cat.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, +2, and I got +2 to flashy, so I'm at +4.
Plus the extra 2 that's already been spent. So you're at +6. So you beat it by 3, which is a comfortable success.
I was going to say, is the degree of success relevant?
I think it is, yes, but I forgot what it is.
And +3. It's called like sway or
Shifts.
something. Shift,
Yes, so
yeah.
you succeeded with style, so with 3 shifts, which means that you succeed with an additional benefit. So
I also pull out the dreamies.
Yes!
The cat does seem to relax and it stands up. It's kind of black form. It's almost like a dark and just shadow, but now that it stands up, you can see it has shape of a cat to it as it steps sort of off the box and comes up towards you. As you're just kind of there cautiously as this cat steps up to your feet and then takes a seat in front of you, looking up at you and starts to purr.
Do you want scritchies? Or would that be like super disrespectful?
The cat looks from you back to the box.
Is that a yes? I would like to carefully reach out for scritchies. Scritchies.
It's just the cat. The cat is oddly cold to the touch and doesn't feel right. It's like you're just kind of, it's like it's soft and almost ethereal, but there is a mass there, and it does start to purr more as you kind of scritch it, but it feels odd. It feels like you're like playing with a jelly.
Bad kitty. Bad kitty.
Yeah. as you kind of this like cat that doesn't seem to have like a physical mass. Now that you're kind of seeing it up close, it just seems like a dark void.
Ectoplasm kitty.
Yeah.
And is it still sort of like gesturing back towards the box?
Yes, and I'm going to add your additional benefit. You have.
I wish.
I'm
Fred,
gonna-
I thought you were going to say kitty there.
I thought it was going to say favour of the cat master.
So did
It
I.
says
yeah.
Favour of the cats, and it's got 2 invocations. So once you invoke it twice, it's gone.
Nice. Hi, cat master. You are very cute and only a little bit disconcerting. May I ask what y'all are doing here?
It stands up and turns around and walks about halfway back towards the box when you're in the box, and then looks to you and then back to the box again.
Do you want me to stand on the box?
The second I hear mention the box, that helmet's going back.
Wait, is this the pan helmet or?
No,
This is the
the
VR
VR helmet.
Don't hurt
Oh, the
the
VR helmet.
heritage.
Right,
The
right.
professor just goes, whoop.
Yep.
Right.
The box.
Ah, good. The box is free then.
The cat seems to be indicating to the box somehow.
I will go up and stand on the box. And then I'll look back at the cat, and I'm just making casual conversation with the cat like
The
it's
cat-
going to start talking.
You stand up on the box, turn to that, and the cat looks at you.
Well, this is
Is-
what you were. Well, I guess you were sort of sat on the box, and she kind of lowers herself to sitting on.
Please be careful
cat-
with those timbers.
The cat kind of squints its eyes at you, and then looks out the door to the other 2 of you,
I
as
am,
if like, does one of you get it?
Is-
I'm gonna hurry in. I think this is a box that you are. This is
If-
history that you are sitting on right now.
oh, the cat was sitting on the box,
Yes.
and now I'm sitting on the box. I am one with the cat.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that the box is any sturdier. So I'm just going to ask you to shuffle off, and I'm going to inspect the lock. I don't know if you saw my exhibition on historical locks and closements, as I think I called them.
There's
I have
a
a brochure.
there's a
I
there's
think
a
that
there's
was
an
before I moved here.
That's very possible.
there's an
It's a
echoing
brochure. Thanks, Ratlin.
there's an echoing voice that seems to come from somewhere that says no, and neither did anybody else.
Well, how exceptionally uncivilized of you.
It is
You
no
know the
need to be rude.
chance of a little education. That's Alex Maud. He just lives in my head sometimes.
Just the voice in my head.
Like an irritant.
Like Gavin.
Is Alex Maud in the room now?
I'm going to inspect this box. I really want to take this box. I think,
Oh,
in
yeah.
fact, this is poking at my trouble. That belongs in my museum. I don't want to leave without this box.
Yeah, as you step up, you can see that the box does indeed open. It's like it has a seam around roughly the middle, so it's like it basically folds in half.
Great.
And it does have a puzzle box element to it. Like it looks like it has to, the elements have to slide out and click into place. It looks like you have to be quite dexterous and possibly have thumbs to open this box. So as you step back, the cat just kind of walks around you and sits by your side now, as it sees that you're the one that clearly kind of has some comprehension here.
Two-
I see.
Two questions. You described this as a room,
Yes.
like as in like
A
I was
whole room.
as in
How
I was.
long is the
Is there a south-facing window? No, I just because. Is it just the cats in the room? Does it look like this was like an old storeroom, like just a random
It looks like
corridor?
it's an old storeroom.
Right.
You've just seen these 2 rooms. So if there's another way out, you haven't seen what it is.
Right.
But this barrel hatch led into these 2 rooms.
Okay. I would like to attempt to invoke the favor of the cats, and I would like to turn to the cat master and say, without a shred of awareness or irony, what's in the box?
Sure. So you're trying to. Okay, I'll just allow it to happen. So yeah, so you can. Warren Bravo steps into the room. Just kind of marches up, kind of stands behind you guys and looks down at the cat. And just says it's in a slightly. It's almost like it's just his kind of like his mouth opens and the voice comes out. It's kind of like a recording element. Like
What's
he can't,
in the box?
the cat just kind of turns to look up at you. It doesn't respond, just looks back at the box.
We're not going to be able to tell what's in the box unless we open the box.
I say you don't need to invoke anything because
Sure.
the cat can't speak.
If we
Do-
ask it enough questions, will it start?
I truly don't think so. Can I inspect you said that this box looked really old. Can I see like some emblems or symbols on it? Is there anything on it apart from this puzzle lock? Anything that would give away, like, even, is there dirt on it? Has it been exhumed?
It doesn't look like it looks like it's been taken fairly good care of. Like it hasn't just been dug up. It's clearly been preserved in some way, in a way that you would understand as a museum creator would look after something of this. It's almost as if it's new. It's been cleaned and it's been looked after, but it's obviously not new. It's obviously very old.
Who's been looking after this box? I asked the cat master.
You again, the cat. Anytime you ask anything, it kind of just looks between all of you and eventually finishes his gaze back at the box. But you would say, assuming it's not an element you don't understand, that it looks like a museum curator has been looking after it. It looks like it's been well preserved. It's good enough to be in your museum as a piece of memorabilia. It's been looked after by a loving owner.
Are the contents of the box dangerous?
The cat looks to one point, kind of looks away, looks into the distance, avoiding eye contact with any of you, and it's kind of like as if it's a little bit in thought, and then it looks down, then just looks back at Warren Bravo, and then back at the box again.
This box is going in my bag. I've waited long enough. I know this is history. I understand that all of you are a little wary because you don't come to my museum that often. But really, it's a historical artefact. If there are mysteries to be sold about it, it's best that we let Alice and Nigel get back to their cat cafe. Clearly, this is the source of all of this drama. So let's just pack it up, bring it to the Heritage Museum, and we'll see what we can do from there. I'll pick up the box and put it in the heritage sack.
The black cat up on its haunches immediately. As other cats in the room go, start hissing, a sort of terrible cat hiss. Just as you kind of put it in the cat's there, just kind of like eyeing you. They're not attacking anything.
Or
Professor,
Yes?
I have a theory.
Go on.
Would you mind just taking out that knife or pan or something and dropping it on or near the box?
I'll take the pen out, put it next to the
my
box.
ultraviolet while doing that.
I keep the knife on me.
I'm basically testing to see if the box or its contents are in any way magnetic.
Yeah, I was going to say you take the pan out and kind of hold it to it, but as it gets close to the box, there's emphasis like as you're about to put it down, it's like so you just pulled gently just towards it. It's not like stuck to it, but just had a slight pull.
There's a pull there. What's your theory, Warren?
Well, it's magnetic. I kind of, you both see, like, you hear Warren on comms, but you also see kind of like Warren Bravo talking as well. Like, Alice, did you say this place doesn't have a basement?
Alice is just going to stand there staring at the screens like, what? Oh, not that we had access to.
You've never seen this room?
No, I've never seen this room, no.
I kind of, I bow my head as if in thought, and you can see, again, just because like I feel like Warren's got like the closest VR connection to his clone, as it were, so you see like an almost, not quite exact, but an almost exact replica of what you know to be Warren's deep thinking face. You might even say he's being pensive. Sorry, in joke. And if possible, I would like to, again, do that thing of where I'm using, you know, one of my sort of side monitors to, like, if possible, I would like to pull up any, like, subterranean blueprints or like, sewer maps or you know, anything like that that might be in town records of any sort.
Sure, I imagine sort of some of that stuff is probably public record, but probably not too much of it's online. But you can put up the bits and pieces that you can.
Sure, I'm happy to busy myself with that for a little bit, because yeah, all I know is that the box is magnetic, or something in the box is magnetic, and
Sure.
like, yeah, no, that's all I'm going to say, because Warren doesn't otherwise say what he's thinking.
The black cat looks to the side of the box and sort of with one paw just kind of scratches at it.
Are we
Nice.
spatially, like, 'cause the kitchen and the cat cafe are up here, and we went down. Are we now in the space underneath the kitchen,
Seems likely.
presumably?
This
So-
cat clearly wants us to open this box.
Yes, I think
Surely.
that's quite clear.
But the issue is where we want to open this box. Now, I don't know about you lovely people, but I think that we've got Alice and Nigel already waiting in our library when they could be in their nice warm cafe. We've just been hired to solve the issue with the cafe. If we brought this box perhaps back to the library or maybe to the museum, we could contain it. But I don't really think that in the basement under our friend's business is the best place to potentially unleash an unhappy spectre. Not to mention the lack of any caretaker for this box.
I agree with you that we shouldn't open it here. I do wonder about opening it in a space full of priceless artifacts.
Priceless, you say? Oh, that I never really thought that way.
Local
Well,
history.
perhaps if you knew a spot out of the woods, we could
Well,
go
that's
to.
what I was
Or around
actually
a lot of
thinking.
very sensitive equipment.
Perhaps the spot in the woods.
In the
then.
woods.
Yeah, where
They're
there's
not-
not metal around.
Not too close to my camper van then.
Yes.
A lovely idea. I put the box in the sack.
As you guys are talking, the other cats all kind of settle down, and the black cat kind of sits down into a seated position, as it just kind of looks between you, listening to the conversation. I'm going to voluntarily cross off one of your favour of the cats, and it allows you to, without issue, place the box into your sack this
If you
time.
want to see what's in the box, you follow us to the woods, my dears. But we're not going to disrupt the Farringdons' business over this, whatever this is, over this furore over a box and some cats. Come, if you want to follow us, we're happy to help you, but you must not disrupt Alice and Nigel further. Does that sound like a fair deal to you?
The cat sits back and relaxes, just kind of goes down onto its paws,
Lovely.
and just starts purring.
Lovely. I'll take that as a yes. Well, on we go. Let's leave this place.
I sneak in more trainees.
Yeah, it just kind of like, it doesn't open, no mouth or anything opens. It just kind of just puts its face onto them and they disappear.
She's a little Hoover.
The only kind of feature that you can see of it is its eyes. This black cat.
Come with us, dear. In fact, if you want to go in the heritage sack, you're more than welcome to. Stay with the box.
Imagine if you had a ghost cat in your
Yes.
museum.
I,
Does it breathe, do you think?
I don't
Do ghosts
think
breathe?
it does.
No.
What do you think
surely
you'd
not.
need to contain a ghost cat? Do you think just a sort of an exhibition cage would do? Or do you think perhaps it would need salt-lined glass?
It's not bad of it. We're gonna go take the box now.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's take the
Yes.
box. We'll take the box away.
Ectoplasmically resonant metal and a rock salt litter box.
Sounds like a good weekend to me.
That's
All of the dozens of cats that are in them kind of snap and start chaotically kind of leaving the room, just kind of scattering about as you're kind of like, you're still back in the doorway as all these dozens of cats and just start kind of moving about you. They kind of run around your feet.
yes.
And they run around you through the other room to the other side, and they start disappearing into a little crack in the wall that you hadn't noticed before. Just one at a time, kind of pushing through and up. As the rest of you kind of stand and begin exiting, as the black cat stays with you
In
and
the
begins walking alongside
in the box room or the slide room?
the slide room.
Nigel Ellis, you'll need to take a look at that, I think. Unless you want your little kitty cats escaping again.
Yeah, and you guys can go over and inspect, and you can see that there is a door there. It's been heavily covered in dirt, so it was blended into the wall. But there's like just a crack in this door that looks like it has a stairwell that goes up.
Oh, so we can go up that instead of the tunnel.
Maybe.
Well, did you see my exhibition on historic locks and closements?
No, and neither did anybody else.
Why
Red light
But yeah, you can crack the dirt off of that door and crack it open, and you can see it leads up to another door at the top of a set of stairs.
Lovely. Let's go up. We go up. Try the door at the top.
The door doesn't budge, but you kind of give it a little bit of an elbows, and you want to go. So you give it a bit of a shoulder, and then crack, and on the other side, the wall of the cat cafe is kind of splits where it had been plastered over, and this door just backs out. And you can see there's another crack in the base here. There's like a very, very small crack. All these cats were kind of sneaking out, sneaking through, just like a little hole in the wall. But yeah, you just busted open. And you see, tumble out into the cat cafe.
Warren, pull the feed. Pull the feed.
I was going to say, see, like, I like to think that, Warren was the last out of the room and he sees you guys sort of open up the stairs. And again, there's just a pause. And then he just climbs up the rope.
Yeah.
He's got to collect his rope as well.
Yeah, exactly.
As the
he collects the rope and meets them out front.
as you exit the cat cafe with the box in your bag with this strange dark mass of a cat following alongside you as you retreat back to home base. And we'll end this first part there, part 1. The mysteries. All right. Well, that was part 1, guys. Was that good? Did we enjoy that? Were you very intrigued?
Yeah, very intrigued.
I'm so determined to keep this cat as a pet. You don't understand. It's gonna
No,
be
I'm like just in my head, I'm like that. Like this box is, the Pandora's box of ghost cats.
Yeah.
Like,
what a coup for the museum.
That was part 2. Again, shame about the camera malfunction, but otherwise came out pretty well. Part 3 and our conclusion next week. If you enjoyed that, please do like and subscribe. Please do share it about. Check out our other shows. We've got the Good Society 3-part episode as well as a one-shot Nice Marines, Grant Howard one-page, one-shot RPG. If you want to support us, link to our Ko-fi page is down below. Any donations are very much appreciated to help us keep things running. Otherwise, check out all my other rants, all my other videos, all my other little essays and things that I do. And hopefully, keep an eye out for more actual play stuff going forward, because we've very much enjoyed recording it. Thanks for watching. The end.